Hello. So I've been having a bit of a clean out today, a bit of an organize of parts of my CD collection, and trying to get rid of some stuff that I don't need or want or listen to, and listening to stuff I haven't listened to for a long time. For example, that, which is Telepop Music, Genetic World. I bought this secondhand probably about 3 years ago, and I listened to it once, and I must have liked it because I thought positively about it whenever I saw the cover, but I never actually listened to it again. I listened to it again just now. It's actually quite good. Kind of a mixture of trip hop, hip hop, kind of general electronic, early 2000s. What year did this come out? Can't see a year. And I think it's German or something, maybe French. Although actually I don't know. Oh yeah, so Stéphane Hari, Fabrice Dumont. They sound French, don't they? Maybe the year says over here 2001. It says here 2001. Anyway, that wasn't the point of what I was saying. And then I've got a lot of kind of crap. I can't even remember why I bought them, why I would have bought it in the first place, with stuff like this. You can see this was bought in 2020, 3rd of June 2020. Synthesizer Greatest, more than 60 minutes of digital music. This one's actually okay because this one, as far as I can tell, is actually the original recordings. It's just all the recordings are synthesizer type music, kind of soundtrack type stuff like Vangelis or what else we got here? Alan Parsons, Jean-Michel Jarre, Moroder, Giorgio Moroder, Mike Oldfield, Jan Hammer. But it's the actual original recordings, as opposed to this, the best sci-fi theme tunes, X Factor. This is almost so bad it's good. It's, as it says, different sci-fi themes, but it's done purely on a synth. So all the sounds are really like, all the drums are like synth drums, and so this was done in 2001. But saying synth drums doesn't really explain the magnitude of how bad it is. It sounds almost kind of 8-bit. It sounds like it was recorded for a video game in the early 90s. Like, for example, the Blade Runner theme. It's the one, it starts off like that. Well, on this version, it honestly sounds like from like an Atari from the 1980s, the sound quality, to the point that it's always kind of quite different. And I kind of wanted to listen to it a little bit more. So, but notice here, Dino Music. I'm used to see that around quite a lot. And Dino Music put out a lot of those really cheap compilations of stuff like that, synthesizer music or guitar songs. But like I said, usually with those really cheap compilations, it's re-records. But this one actually seems to be the actual song, not re-recorded by the original artist. Tense. Now this is another thing. I've listened to this before, Smiling on the Outside. I bought this for 50 cents. And that would have been about 3 or 4 years ago. And I always listen to everything I buy. And I can't actually remember ever listening to it. Because then looking at that, the cover, I assumed it was some sort of new agey world music, electronic type stuff. Just from looking at that, you can kind of get a feel just from looking at the art. It came out in 1998. Put it on. It's actually, how would you describe it? A poor man's tool. And so I looked it up on Google, and these guys, as far as I can tell, have only ever had one release. It's an English alternative rock metal band from the 90s. And there's not much evidence of them ever existing online, but there are a few things like on Discogs and things like that. But I listened through to it and I really didn't get anything positive from it at all. So that's going on the get rid of pile. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought these because I never liked Jack Johnson. I don't know if you know Jack Johnson. He's kind of like a guitar singer-songwriter, man with an acoustic guitar, singing kind of semi-relaxing music. I think he's Hawaiian. He's an ex-surfer. He was a professional surfer, and he went on to become quite a famous musician. I'm not totally sure how famous he is around the world. I know this kind of music often does very well in New Zealand. A man with a guitar seems to go over very well here. And I don't know why I bought this. I listened through to it once, and I know you've probably heard some of the songs on here before when they were first released, like this big singles. What was the big single? I can't. There's that one. I can't remember the name of it. I don't think it's any of those. Is it this one? I don't think it's this one. I think this is his less known album, Sleep Through the Static. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure this was the album, Bushfire Fairy Tales, and that picture, I've seen that around before. But anyway, I don't like Jack Johnson. I don't know why I bought it. Sometimes you look at these and I think, what? I don't know what I was thinking when I bought it. They're only $1 each, so it's not the end of the world. But anyway, that's on the get rid of pile. So far there are 3 on the certain get rid of pile. There's 2 on I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with them, which probably means I should keep them if I'm not sure. There's one that I definitely want to keep. I don't know. I knew I wanted to keep that, but I just wanted to be sure by listening to it. There's a few piles behind me. Where is that other pile? Oh, the camera's sitting on a pile of them. I can't show them. But the other thing, as you can see in the distance there to the right of my CD player, is a whole lot of other CDs. These are largely not those. Those are largely soundtracks, and that is something else I've been meaning to organize for a long time. And I'm not 100% sure what direction I'm going in with the soundtracks and what I'm going to be doing. There's a lot of soundtracks there that I absolutely want to keep and I like a lot. And overall, I really like soundtrack music. But there was a period there where I was kind of just buying any soundtrack, especially if it fell within the kind of the age range of my life, really, from like the 80s through the 90s. I was kind of picking up a lot of those soundtracks and then more modern stuff as well, but just kind of. So for example, this is something I bought on purpose, and this was actually not a secondhand CD. I got this really cheap though. I think I got this for like $4 new. They were getting rid of them. Ex Machina, you might have seen that movie, came out about 10 years ago now, 2015, 9 years ago. It has a very, if you watch Black Mirror on Netflix, it has a kind of very similar vibe and feel as that, kind of like the what's that genre called? Not dystopian future, but kind of like the idea of technology and where it's heading and how it could turn against us and not entirely be positive. But it's actually a very good soundtrack. It's, sci-fi sounding stuff, a lot of kind of keyboards and synths and dark sounds. This is actually a double disc. The other one's a bonus material that I guess was kind of other music in the movies that wasn't as important as the first disc. But the best song on there is track 10 on the first disc, Bunsen Burner, which has a motif or a kind of theme that comes up along through a lot of the songs. You know how like in a movie soundtrack, often there's a main theme of the music. Oh, sorry, of the movie, in terms of the music. And it kind of weaves its way throughout the movie and it pops up not in the same way exactly, but the kind of maybe the main melody is placed in different parts throughout the movie. Am I explaining that? The True Blood soundtrack from the TV show on HBO. That's very good. Composed by Nathan Barr. He's done quite a few soundtracks. There's some good stuff on that. I definitely keep that. Blade Runner soundtrack, probably one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. That's actually not second. That is secondhand. Probably 50 cents for that. You see that around actually from time to time. That must have been quite popular. This was new. I bought this new in South Korea. Like I said, one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. The Ghostbusters soundtrack. Now, I'm not sure, like, was this all by Ray Parker Jr.? I must have listened through, because like I said, in 99% of cases, when I buy a CD, I listen through to it at least once after I buy it. But I don't have a lot of memories of listening through to this. But I wouldn't get rid of that yet. The Lost Boys soundtrack, that's got that song, Cry Little Sister, who for a long time I thought was done by Sisters of Mercy. But apparently it's done by Jared McCann. Who else we got? Eddie and the Tide, Tim Capello, Mummy Callis, Thomas Newman, Echo and the Bunnymen, NXS and Jimmy Barnes, Roger Daltrey, Lou Gramm, NXS and Jimmy Barnes. That's a great. I always liked Lost Boys, the movie. Rewatched it probably about 13 years ago, because actually, no, it wasn't. It would have been more than that. I remember very vividly where I was. I was in an apartment I used to live in with a girl I used to be with, and we were in bed watching the movie together. It was just on regular TV, not like streaming or anything. That would have been 2009. So what's that, 15 years ago now? It's like half a bloody lifetime, isn't it? Feels like yesterday. Labyrinth. See, these are, when I look at these, I think I want to get, these are all like great classic soundtracks, a lot of these, and I don't want to get rid of them, but at the same time, I don't listen to them much at all. But the idea with the soundtracks is that I was trying to kind of establish a really thorough selection of movies from the 80s and 90s. Why? I don't exactly know. Cocktail, obviously Kokomo is the anchor track on that, of that movie. What else we got in here? We got Wild Again by Starship, Bobby McFerrin, Don't Worry, Be Happy, Tutti Free by Little Richard, All Shook Up by Ry Cooder, John Cougar Mellencamp's Rave On, and yes, of course, Kokomo. I don't think I've ever actually watched the movie from beginning to end, Cocktail. I'm not the biggest Tom Cruise fan. My wife loves Tom Cruise. Now this, The Crying Game, another movie I've never seen. Includes Boy George's The Crying Game, but Boy George, Cicero, Carol Thompson, Ann Dudley. I have no idea about this. And so I ask myself, as I kind of come across these CDs from time to time, of having no idea, no memory of them, why do I have them? Especially when they're taking up so much room in other parts of the house, not all located on my CD shelves in the other room. What else we got here? Motorcycle Diaries, great movie and great soundtrack. Composed by Gustavo Santaolalla, yeah. I'm not sure. Anyway, he's got some great bits and pieces from there. A lot of those kind of songs I've listened to a lot of the years. Le Mort de la Poderosa, The Death of Poderosa, which is when their first motorbike dies. I really love it. It's a very kind of mournful sound, a very mournful, sad sounding kind of piece of music that I've listened to that a lot. What's that one where they do the dance? Oh, Chippy Chippy, Chippy Chippy. Al otro lado del río by Jorge Drexler. He's a Uruguayan artist, and that was kind of the main theme of the movie. And I think he was nominated. Did he win? Oh, he actually may have won the Grammy. Does it say on here somewhere? oh shit, the Grammy for Best Original Song for a Movie. And at the Grammys, he didn't perform it. Antonio Banderas performed it for whatever reason. Yeah, Antonio Banderas wasn't in this movie. His only connection to it is that he's obviously he's Spanish, and the song's in Spanish. Uh, I've got a feeling Jorge Drexler did win that award. Anyway, that's a really good one. That Crimson Tide. Paid $2 for that. Nowadays, so I said, okay, there we go. Maybe that's why, by Hans Zimmer. I've talked about that a lot before. That if I see Hans Zimmer's name on something, I'll buy it because I generally really like his composing work, and it's interesting to see the evolution of his work. Because obviously, Crimson Tide was what, the late '80s. It was when the Cold War was still going. Oh no, it wasn't. '95. Okay, I thought this was like more like 1988 or something. Crimson Tide. Am I thinking of? I'm getting confused with Hunt for Red October, aren't I? Red, crimson, submarines. Easy mistake to make. This has got Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. Don't think I've actually ever seen that movie. Yeah, I was thinking of Hunt for Red October. That's from the late '80s, and that's got Sean Connery putting on no accent. Everyone around him's got a Russian accent, but he's just like Scottish. City of Angels. Now, the reason I bought that originally is because that's got the Alanis Morissette song on it. They were always very much, Uninvited. When I listen to that song now, it's actually a bit of a slog. And I'm not even sure why I liked it at one stage. But what else we got on here? We got U2, Hendrix, Paula Cole, Peter Gabriel, Goo Goo Dolls, Iris, and then some kind of part of the score by Gabriel Yared. Shine, I think I showed this on when I first bought it. I would assume that's all piano music, because it's a movie about a pianist played by Jeffrey Rush from the 90s. So, so we're saying like it's at 94, I think. Can I see? Can't see the year. No, Shine might have been a bit later than 94. Got it? 90s, 96. So 96, 98, 95, 2002. That's sometime in the late 80s, wasn't it? The Crying Game. Is that 80, 88, 89, 87, 88, 87, 88, 84, 80, 82. About 10 years ago. So kind of staying within. Now this one, I really have no idea what the fuck I was thinking. You can see the price at the time when this was bought new. Whoever bought it paid $24.95. I would have paid about $1 for it. Music from and inspired by the motion picture. So what do we got? Nothing I remember. I don't think well, the original one was Ocean's 11, wasn't it? Because I saw that one and I didn't like that movie. I never saw any of the follow-up ones. So that's the kind of thing I maybe think that I could get rid of that. But the thing is that before I want to get rid of something, I want to listen through to it. And when there's a lot, it gets a bit overwhelming after a while. And you think, oh, I can't bother doing this because you got too many to listen through to. And that's a good lesson for me. Is like, well, don't buy things that you're not 100% sure on. But then if you're not buying things you're not 100% sure, sometimes you want to take a risk. There are so many CDs that I've got, great albums that I've got, that if I hadn't have taken a risk or a punt, I would never have heard them. So it's a thin line, or what's the analogy of trying to decide what to listen to and what not. What to buy and what not to buy. Oh, Brother, We're Out There. That's a classic soundtrack from the Coen Brothers movie. That I'm pretty sure won an Oscar. Obviously, kind of like a selection of kind of bluegrass country from the start of the 20th century, and the song was that one by the Soggy Bottom Boys. What was that? Man of Constant Sorrow, I think. There it is, track 16. So it's good to listen to time to time. I like that. It's 50 Cents. Who is that? Is it? No. Is that Robin Williams? No, neither of them are Robin. Neither of them are Robin. Who are they? A film by Wayne Wang and Paul Auster, Smoke. The most precious things are lighter than air. Contains new music by Jerry Garcia Band. Tom Waits. Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Okay, so the actors are William Hurt, Harvey Keitel, Stockard Channing, Harold Perrineau, Forrest Whitaker. This from '95 is a Miramax movie, which it kind of looks like. Again, I'd say similar. No memory of buying that, or necessarily listening to it, but I would have listened to it at least once. Spirit, the Stallion of the Cimarron. I do remember buying this. I think we'll leave it there. Maybe I'll show some more of my soundtracks another day, because I got so many of them, and I really do need to sort them out. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Cheers.